What's up, everyone? This is LofiNole, and this is gonna be something different that I've been wanting to do on my channel for quite some time. But I could never really figure out how I wanted to do it. I just knew I wanted to do it, and pretty much I just want to share my thoughts on a game and everything, but just talk to the viewer or just chat. Really, that's how I want to make this video. And so, with that being said, I will have a hold on, wrong way. I will have a Overwatch video going on right here on the side of me. But overall, I just want to give my experience and like how I felt while I played Overwatch from Overwatch 1 and then all the way up to where we are now, which is Overwatch 2, and how I just been feeling with the game, how I see it, what are the negative things about it, how do I feel about the company Blizzard, and so on and so forth. As a person, for me, I've been playing the game for a very long time, as I said, and I played it back in like season 3, when Overwatch 1 was released. And when I say season 3, I mean like for comp. If anyone remembers around that time, I don't remember the year for it. It was December 2016 on the 1st. So that's when I started playing the game. And by that time, I was learning the ropes just like everyone else. I was learning different characters. I had my favorite DPSs, I had my favorite tanks, I had my favorite healers, etc., etc., etc. And at that time, it felt really nice to play. And you could also argue that Overwatch was really the best team oriented game at the time. And even somewhat before Overwatch 2 was announced, I still think it can hold that title. But nowadays, I don't really feel like it is anymore. I don't feel as though it's the Overwatch that we know and loved back then. And with the battle pass being changed to, well, from loot boxes to battle pass to the comp now having decay, then having a god awful like system in place for you to level up to go to another rank, and then all these skins and stuff that you want to purchase or get per se is locked behind a battle pass, and the only way to get it is by spending money. I don't really seem as though like the game is even fun anymore. Even the matchmaking or how you join people and play games with people doesn't really feel like it used to be. And so the number one thing I want to start off with first is the battle pass. Now, I don't think the battle pass was a bad idea. I think the battle pass was good because it became free. Even though at first it was $60, they changed it over to free, and then they had to make money some way. So I kind of understand like what they was trying to do and everything. But then what didn't make sense was they locked everything behind the battle pass. All your cosmetics was locked behind it. The free version didn't really have a lot of stuff to begin with, and then on top of that, like you had to spend like $10 or the $15 like every single time just to get something out of it. And if let's just say you didn't want to go that route, you want to be the type of person that just wanted to buy their skins, you looking to spend about $15 or $20 or even higher than that, depending on what you're looking for. Like some trinkets alone can be more than a skin. It can go up to 25, I believe, if they really want to push that. And for me as a person that came from like Overwatch 1, you got everything from loot boxes. And let's just say they had battle pass back then, the smarter choice was to make it to where free to play people could have a better chance of like getting their skins, not having to break their wallet every single time, to get a skin that they really cared for our character. Like even to this day, if you wasn't an Overwatch 1 player, there's really no point to ever go out of your way to buy a skin because you're really just wasting your money and you could just buy something else. You could legitimately just buy the battle pass with that same money. But it's I don't understand the point of that battle pass. And then not just that, like the numbering, how they have it set up. There's barely anything, like I was saying, for free to play people. It takes a while for you to get anything that you really, really wanted. And at the end of the day, you still have to turn around and buy it if you do want something that's in it, because 9 out of 10, it is not free. So it's kind of like backhand slap. And on top of that, the character that they make, that you get to play once it's released, is also locked behind the battle pass unless you get to 45. And at first it was 55, but then they moved it down. It still doesn't make sense because at the end of the day, back in Overwatch 1 days, or well, let me explain Overwatch 1 days. Overwatch 1 days was they add a new character, it comes in, you wait, you cannot play it in comp, but you can play it in quick play. You play in quick play, then they release it for comp, you play it in comp. Overwatch 2 now, it's like, well, in order for you to play this character, you got to get to 45. Okay, it already takes long enough for you to get there if you're not using the thing that boosts it. So it's more incentivized for you to buy it, buy the battle pass in order for you to boost it, or simply grind forever. Okay, you want to grind. It takes you to 45, boom, you finally get to play the character. And let's just say the character is broken or somewhat really useful, like Kiriko at the time. Well, guess what? You crap out of luck because you have to wait that long and your games could have maybe changed. It could have helped you in comp. It could have been a make or break for your team, etc., etc., etc. And it's just got awful with how they have that set up. Instead, the smarter thing is to do just make it level 1 and make it to where free to play and people who buy the battle pass get to play it right then and there. Like, it doesn't make sense. They already lock it behind quick play. It's not like they put a new character in and then you get to play it in comp. No, you gotta wait even then when they release a new unit. So that doesn't make sense. Why lock it behind so long just to play the one simple character? But I digress. Then next, another thing that I don't understand with the battle pass is the whole marketing of it. Like, the store will pretty much push you to buy something more than anything than opposed of you just playing the game at this point. And so it's really sad with how they have like the system in place for you to make money for their game, but it's just so god awful bad. And then nowadays, almost every free to play game has a battle pass. So in my head, I was thinking, okay, why not take some ideas from other games that have the battle pass? I mean, there's tons of games nowadays that literally have battle passes in it. They do 10 times good. Like, you already stole the ideal. You already got the ideal from other games that made a battle pass. So the only thing you had to do next was just look at other games that kind of do it, and then like figure out how did you want your game to have the battle pass. That was really it. Like, but it's like they couldn't even get that through their head. It's like, well, we just gonna put the battle pass in because we're tired of loot boxes, and yeah, we're just hoping that they're just gonna spin regardless. I mean, it's a battle pass. I mean, it's free to play, but I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you still gonna make it great. You still gonna make the battle pass correctly. And so it's and even now they made it to where the story is also kind of tied in with the battle pass. So it's like, eh. But I digress. The next thing I really want to bring up is the comp side of it. So I was a big comp player back in Overwatch 1, and I grinded from silver all the way up to diamond in all three of the different roles for tank, DPS, and healer. And nowadays, I usually just play DPS because whenever I'm bored, I want to hop on May. I am a May lover. That's just me personally, and I went from silver to diamond. Before Overwatch 2, I was diamond for like all my roles, and now I'm like all the way down because at first when the game first launched they messed up the system, and so everyone's supposed rank got tweaked and got changed, so I went back down. Now, can I grind all the way back up to diamond? Yes, but at the same time there's nothing that really incentivizes me to do it other than just playing, and that doesn't feel good because even when I do get on and I hop on and play comp and I'm trying to regrind, I still don't get any like value from doing that because they already messed up the how you rank up in the system in the first place. So now how comp is set up is you have to play 5 total matches to see your rank change or not. And depending on those, you can go up or down pretty quickly. And if I remember correctly, because someone explains this, I was watching a video about this and I happened to record myself while watching it. So I'm going to put it up here. But how she explained it was, let's just say you had to still play like higher than 5 matches to really know how your rank is going to go. But in generally, you can kind of tell if, let's just say you lost 3 matches and then you won 2, then you can already assume that you're either going to D rank or you're going to stay in the same rank. just from that alone. And how the system was made beforehand was okay, you play a match, you lose. It tells you, hey, your SR was this. It went down from this to that. Your SR was this. Hey, you just won your match. Hey, your SR went from this to that. And this, why get rid of that system if it worked so well at the time? It clearly showed. It clearly helped any viewer to, or any type of person that was playing comp, knowing, okay, this is how much I got to get to in order to get to diamond. This is how much I need to get to master. This is how much I need to get to grandmaster. Now it's kind of like, okay, I don't know whether I'm gonna get up there or not. But all I know is, hey, I'm losing matches and I'm winning matches. But let's just see. Okay, you get into the game, you lose your 3, you win your 2, then you turn around and guess what happens? You're stuck either D-ranking it and going back down and going through the BS of doing like the tier system, which doesn't really make sense at the end of the day, because then you got to go from tier silver tier 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Instead, like that legitimately didn't make sense. That's so frustrating to sit down and play it, because if you just mess up at least 2 matches, if you lose 2 matches, you have a higher chance of still de-ranking or staying in the same rank instead of even moving on. So it's so god awful bad. So god awful bad. And then not just that, I remember back in Overwatch 1 where you could find people who was looking to play comp. You know, when you load up into the game and then you had like the custom party games or whatnot, there were some people that wanted to make friends by doing that. They hopped in, they made a little lobby saying like, hey, looking to play comp, yada yada yada. But now when I hop on, I don't find that anymore. Like, either I'm just slow or maybe I'm not looking that well. But nowadays the custom games is really set up to be actually about custom games. And it's not about, okay, let me find people who are looking to group up together and then like jump into comp. I don't want to be the type of person that has to hop into Discord, find someone on the Overwatch Discord looking to play comp, then hope to God they're around my same level so that we can play comp, and then hope to God that everyone is at least somewhat sane or comprehensible or can understand a little bit how their character works, just so I can play comp and move up in rank. It doesn't incentivizes me enough to go through the hassles of doing all that BS just so I can get up a rank. It really does not feel as though I'm wasting my time correctly when I sit down and play Overwatch comp. And the funny thing about it is Overwatch comp is really the only thing that they had going at the time at this point. Now, recently I got back on the game and they added something where I think when you level up the certain unit that you play, you get like a different tier for them. It shows like the leveling system. I forgot what it was, but if you play Overwatch, you kind of know what I'm saying, which that kind of tricks your mind into saying, okay, well, if I play the game long enough, I get to have this really cool thing about this character, or I get to have this really cool icon or whatever, which is great, but it still does not change the factor of where Overwatch 2 is sitting at now. It's just really not great. It doesn't feel that's great to even play even after doing that. So I don't really know what to say for Overwatch 2 in that space. And even now, as a person who stopped playing, and yes, you know, someone's probably gonna comment down below saying, okay, why are you whining and crying about this if you don't play the game anymore? Well, it leads me to my next question with my next thing I want to talk about, which is Blizzard itself. I would say this shows like a good example of what not to do as a gaming company. And the fact of the matter is, not only did they trash their Overwatch 1 to make Overwatch 2 to bring in PvE, because the whole point of Overwatch 2 was PvE, not PvP, and then get delayed, then was promised so much, then was delivered afterwards, because it finally came out, is it does not live up to the hype. They tell us it doesn't live up to the hype, and I would say they did good by telling us. I think that's the one thing that saved them, in all honesty, because if they didn't say anything, then we got what we got. I think people would have been more outraged. Now that people were able to see and they told us, hey, look, we're not gonna have the PvP, the PvE that we was talking about. It's too much big for us, yada yada yada. Kind of softens the blow a bit, so people who are coping to still play Overwatch is still gonna play Overwatch, and it's just so bad because then what was the really point? It doesn't feel like Overwatch 2 at the end of the day. It still feels like this limbo of like in between Overwatch 1 and 2, and it's never really gonna be like the game that it was supposed to be. And Steam for Overwatch really shows that. It's so bad. It's overwhelmingly negative. So anyone who plays Blizzard games to a certain degree, it's so very sad with looking at how that company really worked on their game and how it came out to be. It just doesn't feel as though like they cared to a certain degree for the players of their game. It really just looks like they cared more for making money after switching over to free to play more than anything. And so I would hope to God that any other gaming company will look at this and say, let's not do this because I just have no words for it. It's so bad. It's so bad. No words can really comprehend or to even like give it a shadow of a doubt, like any leeway, or to even let it stand on its own, or to back it up, because it's just really god awful. I don't understand why they did it. I really don't. At this point, they could have just easily went back to Overwatch 1. They could have implemented everything to Overwatch 1, but then they swapped over to 2. Story, I would say, even though they did promise us Overwatch 2 with story, I still did not too much care. But I was looking more forward to it because they had skill trees, and I'm a big Borderlands fan, and so stuff like that really grinds my gears, and I really want to hop in, enjoy, and play it. But it doesn't feel any worth to play it, and I'm not going to even put myself through playing something like that, because even after watching a video about it, it really just, you jump into the match, you fight a couple robots, you protect something, then you call it a day. And then even the dialogue between the characters doesn't really feel as though they have a lot to say. But for some odd reason in the PvP side, like there's a lot of story development, there's a lot of stuff that's going around where like the characters know each other, or like they go through stuff. It's it's sad. It's really really sad how Overwatch itself came to be, and it's slowly like on its decline. And I think it deserves it more than anything. Let me not sugarcoat that, but I feel really bad for the content creators and also like just the game itself. Like it just really doesn't make any sense about how this came to be. Really, like you have one job, really, and it just doesn't really make sense. Like I'm not a gaming programmer to a certain degree, but I do know my way about programming. I do understand software. I do understand about developing some things, and even looking at it from a programming side, like a lot of it just doesn't makes sense. It really, really doesn't. Um, but yeah, I didn't really want this video to be that long. And this is my first time ever like sitting down and having some something like this, and so yeah, this just wanted to share my thoughts with Overwatch 2 and like what I'm thinking. I don't think the game is gonna be great even after everything aside it. Um, they added a new character for season 6. She's a healer, but we already have like 2 healers that already came into the game. So I don't know why we need a third healer. But what do I know? I'm not a gaming company. I'm not someone who's in the scenes of Overwatch, so I don't really know, right? Um, it's just so god awful. I don't think the game should keep going, in my opinion. I think the game is going to eventually die out, and I'm not going to be surprised. and I just want to stay far away from it. It's pretty sad. I think the one thing that will always keep me to come back to the game is probably May more than anything. But even then, I don't want to like stress myself through it or even like play something like that to enjoy one single character that I used to love so much. So it's best, in my opinion, if I just stay away from it. But I just don't understand how some people can like. To this day, I hope to God, because I know this is gonna happen. They're gonna release a new cinematic, a new season, and then like the Overwatch lovers, they're gonna like break their backs to say this is like the best game in the world, and then like say there's nothing wrong with it, yada yada yada. But it should not be. You can't salvage this, and you cannot like show love to this. It's really god awful, dude. But yeah, that's really my take on it. I'm just not gonna play the game. If anyone that I know or my friends play the game, I'm not gonna like disown them for it. But I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not gonna be the type of person that can play this. It's just god awful. I had one job, but they didn't want to make it. They didn't want to correct it. But yeah, that's the end of this video, and I'll catch you guys later on the next one. So yeah.